Hello? Can you hear me? Just let a few in. At least I got the right link. I'll say, just had a pop-up came that says your meeting starts in 5 minutes. I've never had that before. So I thought, ooh, I hope it's this one. I've just clicked it, so I'm glad you're there. I hope this works. Ooh. Is that your Christmas tree, Steve? Oh, bloody hell, hang on. Hello? Hello? You should have had an email, and the link is on the Freedom Group. Yeah, just click on the image of the Zoom. About half hour ago. Yeah, try that. What I'll do, I'll try and get the link and put it on a message for you. Yeah. Okay. Cheers. Right. So, anybody there who can speak? Oh, just admit these people in. Steve. Can somebody just go on the Freedom Group and just paste the link on there? Nicola couldn't find the link. I don't know if anybody can find the link. Let me just see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it here.
Click the Zoom should work, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've got that many things open here.
Very fast.
Right, we got right. Control your language now. There's a Mr. Cat car just come in. Be careful what you're saying. Can you hear us, Mr. Cat car?
Hello, how are you?
Oh, and we can hear you. That's good. That's good.
You know, I'm not used to doing webinars, so you have to bear with me.
You notice I didn't ask you what slides you wanted to use.
I'm sorry, I'm not wearing a tie.
Oh, right, you've got some chat there. Just waiting for people to come on. We'll mute everybody after, so we'll go quiet soon. So thank you for coming, Mr. Cat Car.
You're very welcome, Mr. Owen.
I just have people, because normally we have a fixed link when we have our team webinars, but this one, because it's out of sequence, I've had to send a different link out. So a few people struggling. What's the link? What's the link? So I know there's people trying to get in from different places. So. Oh, there's. Right, we'll give it one more minute because we've got a lot to go through. But there's quite a few said they were covered. I hope they're not trying the other link. I'm just going to post. Somebody posted it on the Freedom Group. The link. We'll get there. It's the waiting. So have you managed to have a couple of days off over Christmas?
I've been catching up with things all the way through, but yes, more time off than I would normally have.
Yeah.
But as you know, the business goes on 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Well, it will do once we've gone past 6 months.
Yeah. And I don't think all the staff will be having full 2 weeks off next year, will they?
No. That was
Yeah, I'll say it's fully.
That's an unusual one.
Yeah, I'll say it's fully understandable that, because if you had a job and you were told you got 2 weeks off,
Yeah,
somebody else.
and then I turn up on your doorstep.
Yeah, well, like I say, it hasn't stopped us work. It's just going to be
No.
It's going to be a bigger load of deliveries to come on the 3rd or the 4th. Normally we've managed to do a little bit in between.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start it because we don't want to, and I'll just add people as they come in. And I'll say what I'm going to do is just share the screen because there's a few things I want to go through first. And then we'll bring you in. Right, can you all see the screen?
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah.
So that should be full size now. And I said, because basically it was going to be like tomorrow night, our normal Monday webinar. But with it being New Year's Eve, I'm going to put everybody on mute. Now we've got to, right. You start speaking, Mr. K. Right, so I said normally would have been on a Monday night, but with it being New Year's Eve, I thought it's probably best not to have that. And then, so with Mr. Cathcart agreed to do this at 7 o'clock on a Sunday, I thought, right, grab that opportunity. So that's why we're doing this at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to go through a few slides here because this is like normal format where we do our business builders on a Monday. But I'm going to talk fast because I want to get my money's worth out of Michael Cathcart. £5,000 an hour he charges for speaking now. So, right, let's just go through here. Oh, in fact, I forgot about this. I forgot to put that slide in there. So some of you might have seen that little video I did, but I think it's true. Like I say, we've been talking about this since July, but importantly now it's the time to start building, which is what we've talked about the last couple of weeks. And I say I'd like to introduce a few new people. Mark, sponsored by Jeff and Di. Sue by Jeff and Di, who's on here. So Sue was on here earlier. John's got a few he's sponsored, one on Christmas Day, but at the moment there's no confirmation on those. And Andrea, she's on a roll. She's really pushing for it. And she's actually sponsored 2 people today. One of them's apologised she can't come on this because she's got the family, or she's visiting family tonight. So welcome all of those, and well done to everybody who's sponsoring. And I'd say it's the perfect time now. And I always say January is the best time to bring people in because all the best people come in January. The reason I say that is we started, I think it was January, sometime in January, when we started doing Clean Easy, which was a very similar business to this. So well done on the sponsoring. I said now, from once the everybody gets going after the new year, then things are really going to move on that sponsoring side. We've got lots of things and ideas in place. Got lots of things to help you on the sponsoring side, but there's 1 or 2 things we're waiting for before we get those into action. And obviously tomorrow is the last day. Oh, I've missed a 1 off there. 31st of December is tomorrow, which is the last day of the month. And I know there's a few of you just smidgens away from hitting that star level. And so really check your CV. And I'll say the only way to do that at the moment is making sure you hit that is when you put your order on, just look at the bottom and it shows you the CV, and then just see, obviously check what you need to do to hit that star level. and then go for that. Check it on your order before you accept it. So I'll say it's a shame to miss out on it. And this is something we've been talking about all year from January. No, we didn't start in January. June, July time when it first started. And I think this was the first business builders webinar we did. I said, really, and this was my idea, that the first 6 months was going to be the building, doing the foundations, where we're doing all the hard work. Michael and his team have been doing the harder work. They've had to put everything in place. But from a business point of view, we're digging the foundations, and then all the tools we're putting together and the little catalogues, we're putting that strength in there. Some of you know there's a couple of things missing at the moment with that extra strengthening in the foundations. I'm just adding people as they're coming in here. But putting that extra strengthening in the foundations, and that's what we've been doing for this first 6 months, is building the business, putting the things in place. We got the recruitment tools, we got the resources side, we got all of that that's in place. It's all there for helping us when everything is in place, and now things are getting in place. We've talked about when all the catalogues were ready, the online registration and all of that was ready. That was the full foundations, and the pay plan. Michael, don't worry, Michael won't be telling us about the pay plan, but unless you want to, so we're not going to. But really, that is part of it. That is the foundations. That's getting everything ready for the growth. And what has happened now, we've got most of the things in place, and then once we got those foundations in, and we've always said 2018, really everybody that's in the business now, I know the terminology is the first 24 hours were the pioneers, but we've always said that anybody in the first 6 months are the true pioneers of Viva MK, because we've had a lot more challenges and we've had to help to build the business, and now things are getting in place. So now we can start coming above those foundations and growing the business. And the New Beginnings catalogue is already working. So I've got proof of that. I can show you that. And so now we're actually coming out of the ground. It's been 6 months doing all that hard digging. It's like any building site, lots of the effort and the time and the money goes into doing the foundations. Now, personally, I think the foundations are virtually there. The last couple of weeks, it's been a bit of soggy concrete that's going to be finished on the 14th of January. But the New Beginnings catalogue is working. The catalogue plus the improved pay plan, then that is when, in 2019, this business is going to rocket. So we've been holding fast and doing really well in this 6 months, but after that, that's when it's going to rocket. And I'll say the thing, I've lost my button here. Oh, damn, I get that. And this is the proof that I'll say the foundation's in place. We've had the catalogues previously, but now that New Beginnings catalogue has come out, and it's literally, I've been out over Christmas of the New Year, and admittedly, most people know it's not the best time for getting big orders, but I've been out with the catalogues. I picked up on the 22nd, so the Saturday before Christmas. I did a long drop. I picked up on the 27th, and then I did a Boxing Day drop. I picked up on the 29th, and out of all of those catalogues, it was roughly about 300. I haven't gone too analytical on it. And we've got £447 of orders, and a couple of stragglers who say, oh, can you come back at the weekend? But that doesn't sound a lot, but for what we have been getting, that is 3 or 4 times the amount of orders. And most of those orders are coming out of the New Beginnings catalogue. And like I say, I know we've been putting the thank you letters out, whether it's that's working, whether it's the orange labels on the catalogue, getting people to look in there. But whatever it is, unless there's products in the catalogues, then we're not going to get the orders. And thankfully now Michael and the team have got the products that people want and need, and now they're actually buying. So for all of you who were doing big catalogues previously and getting good orders from Viva MK, you just get your new beginnings out, because really I'm impressed with them. And for me to be impressed with a catalogue, Mr. Kale know it must be good for me to say something good about catalogues. So yeah, so well done, Viva MK, on that. And obviously the recruitment, I know a lot of you have already started. I've seen your adverts going out. I say now's the time to push. There's still that little delay. Hopefully the team are working on that website and getting that instant registration sorted. But I say get the people in and explain that, I say because of the new year, there's going to be a bit of a delay getting your catalogues, but speak to the people and let them know that, I'm just letting somebody else in. So start doing your sponsors and really push for it now. We're at the end of the year, and go for that, because it's going to be your growth that you're doing. And as a team, these are the new trophies that we'll be doing this year. We'll have a top retailer, distributor of the year, and top sponsorer. And I say we don't know what the pay plan is, and hopefully once the website is all finished and easy to do, then we can get all the results easily from that website. At the moment, I haven't put any figures together of who's the top retailer, the top sponsorer. I'll try and work something out for next week. But if, I'll say, when that website's sorted, it'll be spot on. So aim for these little incentives. There'll be other incentives. I said you'll hear more about that once Michael releases the pay plan, because at the moment we haven't got a clue what it's going to look like and what incentives we can put in place. But the main thing is the catalogues are working, you're going to make the money, and it's going to be a big year. So Viva MK, I'm sort of speeding up here. Viva MK, what was it when Michael, I think it was on his first Facebook Live, which he's a master of now. So it was forever. Viva stood for forever. So there was a lot of people say, well, oh, hang on, we've missed the, oh, there's a couple of things. Oh, bugger. Viva MK, he did say it was not Viva Michael Cathcart. He said it was Viva My Clean Easy. Some people say Viva My Clean Easy. Some people say Viva McLeod's. But I think really we know it's Viva Michael Cathcart. He said it wasn't, but I think we all believe it is. And I'm saying I don't mind that, because it really is. He's the man at the front, so he's got to take all the flack. By God, he's had some flack for the last 6 months. So yeah, that's Michael Cathcart. I can't remember what the next slide is. Well, ignore that one. That's well, don't ignore that one. That's the 24th of February for the case. So I'm going to quickly do a quick intro. So Michael Cathcart, who is he? Well, some say he's an author, because he has written a few books. I think it's 3 at the moment. He's probably working on another one. He's a mentor to a lot of people. And to some people, believe this or not, he's a pin-up. So, oh, hang on, somebody coming. This might be one of your stalkers coming in here. There's a pin-up. He's even had his own calendar, and I have got copies if anyone would like to request one later. And he's a man who never sleeps. If you go on Facebook, you'll see this man never sleeps. He's posting at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. But really, he's been the one with the vision who's given hundreds, if not thousands of people hope for a better future again now with Viva MK. You know, earlier this year, middle of the year, we thought everything was lost for people who were in Clean Easy and Betterware. But now he's through that lifeline earlier in the year, June. But now I think the ship is ready to launch now. 2019 is going to be massive. We've known Michael Katko for about 18 years now, and he's always been there to support us. But I think I've tested him probably more in the last 6 months than the previous 18 years with the number of emails I've sent, the messages on Facebook, which is something new, and the ideas and suggestions and moans and complaints I've sent to him. So I'm still hoping he's a friend because like I said, I've known him for that long. So now I'm going to quickly hand over to Michael Cathcart. I haven't got a clue what he's going to talk about, but I say it's a big thank you to all of you for being part of the Freedom Group in this first 6 months of challenges, to stick with it, because now the light is at the end of the tunnel and we're shooting out of it. And now let's see what Michael Cathcart has got to say. So hopefully you can be unmuted and speak away, Mr. Cathcart.
Hello. Can you hear me, Jeff?
I can hear you. Can everybody else?
Excellent. Yeah, well, first and foremost, I just want to reiterate what you just said. That yes, I've known you a very, very long time. In fact, 18 years this January. And for all my failings and a lot of the things that I learned those nurturing days came from you and your team, because I remember we used to spend a lot of time together, and you know, we did a lot of meetings, a lot of sizzles, and you know, and I remember when you qualified for the Sea Goddess in the year 2000, and I even spent time with you there. You know, it's amazing that I can honestly look back on those 18 years in Clean Easy, and it's no wonder we called this business Viva My Clean Easy, which is what it stands for, because I owe everything to that business. And of course, in later years, Betterware came along, but those two businesses, particularly Clean Easy, where, you know, for 18 years, I owe the business so much. So when we ended, in April, when things obviously went wrong, I had to make the decisions that I had to make as the MD, and you know, you have to legally make some decisions, which we made. I was, like many people, at a complete and utter loss what to do next, because when you love doing something so much that you live and breathe and sleep a business, and then it's no longer there, you really don't know what to do. Of course, there were job offers. But I didn't want to work for anybody. I really couldn't work for anybody. I couldn't work for another business. I couldn't even, you know, think about job applications. Yes, they came along, but they were of very little interest. So the only thing I could think of was having some form of Clean Easy business, starting some kind of business that resembled what we had. And I can honestly say, we wouldn't have got this far. I know I say this every single week when we do Facebook Lives. I say this every week, but I mean it. And I really want people to understand that none of what has been achieved in the last 6 months could have been done without the people that we had in Clean Easy and in later years, Betterware. It is the people that help put that together. Without the encouragement and support that I had during those barren months when we were in a kind of no man's land, I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have put it together. It was that encouragement, that support, that backbone of what was in Clean Easy supporting me to do this. And that was, bear in mind, underlying all that, there were very negative things happening, but the support still was there, and that encouragement was there. And that's why I wanted to build a business that was all about support and encouragement, to almost pay back people for not only 18 years of learning and understanding, but the previous few months when things had gone so wrong, that I needed to have a business that supported people. And yet, you know, it's incredible, and I don't mean this in a negative way to anybody else. I really don't care what anybody else is doing, but the people who shone through were the likes of Jeff, the likes of people on this Zoom now. It was the people in from Clean Easy, not necessarily the leaders or what we call leaders, but everyday distributors, everyday people that were in the business that really shone through more than anybody. So as 2019 begins in just 24 hours, or just over 24 hours, I want this business to grow massively in 2019. I have a plan behind it. I'm releasing a brand new sales plan because the first one I created, it was, we had to see it in action. There's things I didn't like about it, I'll be honest with you, once it was in operation. So I've gone back to the drawing board and designed one right from scratch. I'll let you have the first details that week, commencing the 14th of January. I think you'll all enjoy it. I think you'll all like it. It really emphasized the importance of team building as well as keeping our retail, because retail is the embodiment of our business. It is the root of our business. This is why I always say retail is king, and it truly is. But the sales plan will cover both areas. Not only will it encourage retail, but it will certainly encourage every single participant in our business to actually team build and benefit from that. So where do I see this business in a year's time? Well, I'll tell you something, life is very unpredictable. If somebody could have told me 1 year ago what was going to happen in 2018, and this is coming from a writer, I could not have envisaged any of it. I wouldn't have believed any of it. I would have laughed in the face of the person who had forecast the kind of things that happened. You know, two businesses that had been running for almost 100 years in administration, a brand new business within the last 6 months, started from nothing but an idea and the encouragement and the support of the people, that closed the year on almost £2 million worth of turnover, that closed for 2 weeks over Christmas, and yet we're getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of orders from a brand new book that's barely been released. So if anybody told me this 12 months ago, I wouldn't have believed any of it. It shows you how unpredictable life and business can be. In the same way, I know where I want to go in 2019, and I'm determined to get there. And the one thing is, once I have an idea, like many of you, I never ever look back. I never ever give up. I only go forward. And that's been an ethos through so many years of my life. So where do I see us in 1 year? Albeit some of it can be unpredictable. Of course, like I said to you before, I expect this business to have 10,000 active people in it, 10,000 active distributors. You know what that will mean? That will mean that will already have dwarfed the business that we had at the end of 2017 for Clean Easy. We'll have done that in 18 months. That's my goal. My goal is to have a business that resembles the growth side of the business that we had in 2017 in Clean Easy after almost 100 years in operation within 18 months of running this business. And if we can do what we have done in 6 months, then I'll tell you that we can do that in the next 12 months. The sales plan will encourage it. The new catalog is already out there and working, and you've seen the progress in the catalogs. You know, we started with no more than a pamphlet, which had 68 products in it. We went to 200 products and 300 products. And it wasn't just the number of products, but it's finding things that people actually want to buy. And you'll see so much more of that in 2019. Furthermore, I'll stick to what I've always said. And that is, we're not going to have a business that raises your overheads. We need to keep your overheads low. Every single distributor needs to make money, not spend money. You know, I know you have to sometimes speculate to accumulate, but at times in previous businesses, I found that people were putting so much money in, but not getting enough out. That's not what we want here. That's not what we have. My point is to keep your overheads low. all your catalog costs, all your startup costs, all the costs that you associate with the business, keep them as flat and low as possible. And this is the magic of a startup. There's so much we can control, so much we can constantly do. Never will I ever be anywhere where you can raise and you launch a sales plan, you can change it within 2 months. It doesn't happen in the real world of network marketing. It doesn't. And yet here, we can make changes as we're going along. I know I've often joked before saying we're making it up as we're going along, but you know what? That's not a joke. The plan, I have a plan, we have a strategy, but so much of it we make up as we're going along. Because what you do, you digest what's happening, you take in the environment, you see what's happening in the business, and you adapt. And that's the magical word. You constantly adapt. And in 18 years of the business that I loved so much, it was so difficult to adapt. It was so difficult to change. We couldn't do it because you needed board approval. You needed to be tested. Here, we can have an idea on a Sunday night. We can launch it by midday on Monday. Okay, it goes wrong once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. But that's what happens in the startup of a business. So the way I see it, the people that have joined in 2018, yes, you've put us where we are today. Could I have ever dreamt that we would already be turning over £2 million? Those are dream numbers. They're numbers that you could never, ever imagine any business doing. I have friends in business, and it's taken them years to get to those kind of numbers. Years and years. And yet here we are. And you know, I can never take this away from the people that help put it there. Not just the team HQ, not just my partners, but the network. And I will say this every single time I have the pleasure of speaking to you, whether on Facebook Live or webinars or at conferences. I've got to put the people first, because without the people, we are absolutely bugger all. And that was one thing that in my previous businesses gradually was being forgotten, that the business was all about people. I ended up working with too many people on the corporate side that would forget it's about people. Put people first. Profits will come, but put people first, not profits before people, which is why I'm absolutely determined to keep overheads low for people. I'm determined to help people build. I don't care who you are, when you started, we will encourage you to build a business. And if I have to personally come and do that in your business, I will gladly do it. Because if you can do that for the people, and we have a distributor network that does that for their team, you can imagine we are going to grow. Of course we are. So my 2019 goals are phenomenal. And yes, Jeff, you have been a pain in the ass over the last 6 months, but you know what? It's been a useful, encouraging, and building pain in the ass, always constructive. A lot of the things that you've said, we've put into action. A lot we couldn't put into action, but we will do. Your videos have helped the entire network grow. You know, you've added value to the business, and I take my hat off to you. Appreciate that. You've done some of the things that we didn't have the resource to do, because whilst we're trying to keep your overheads low, we of course have to keep ours low. By keeping ours low, it enables us to keep yours low, because when our costs go up, those costs have to be spread out somewhere. They have to come from somewhere. So we sometimes didn't have the resource, and you went and did exactly what we couldn't do because we didn't have the resource. So your help has been incredible, and so has it been from many people in your team and the network. But you in particular, you know, as I said, worked with you for 18 years now. And I suspect there's going to be many, many more years to come. You don't shake me off that easily. And I suspect they won't be shaking you off that easily either. So 2019, I can promise you, whatever you've seen the first 6 months is going to multiply. It's going to multiply in numbers of distributors. It's going to multiply in turnover. But most importantly, if we are a true people business, I want your incomes to multiply, because that's where the magic is. If you're earning money that means the company's making money. If the company's making money, we can do more things to help you make money. You know, I always used to have this dream at Clean Easy that I wanted every single person to be earning more than they were the year before. And that's where I want us to be at the end of 2019, that all of you are earning multiples of what you're earning today. And I mean multiples. And I know there's many companies out there, many huge companies that talk about huge numbers. But the fact still remains that what we can do here is a true people's enterprise. I can, like I said to you, I can have somebody suggest something to me on a Sunday, and by Monday lunchtime, we've got it running. Big corporations can't do that. But when we get to the size of those big corporations, which I fully expect us to be, we will still have that flexibility. We will still have that adaptability, because I am always going to put people first. It's people that have got me to where I am now. It's people that have got the business to where it is today. So why wouldn't you always put them first? So that's why I don't bat an eyelid when people tell me how big some other businesses are. No one cares how big your business is. They only care when they know how much you care. And I will always do that because you've put me where I am. Without you, I don't know where I would be now. I've absolutely no idea. Clean Easy made me, and it's what I learned from that business that's made Viva MK. The people and the learning all came from Clean Easy. And I don't know, you know, it's an incredible place to be. Couldn't have predicted any of this a year ago. We've had the most phenomenal year. The pay plan that I'm going to launch in January was just adapting and flexibility. Again, taken what we had, and I have redesigned it right from scratch. You'll learn more about that in the coming weeks. It's more based on a Clean Easy type model where you create groups of people. In Clean Easy, we're creating groups of gold distributors. For those of you who don't know, Clean Easy was built on gold distributors, where a gold distributor was £9,000 worth of turnover, and those were the building blocks. From there, the business grew. The more gold distributors you broke. It's a very similar principle. Very, very similar. Be easy to understand. Be easy to show people what they need to do to make an income. Because the biggest flaw I found with the current plan was it was very difficult to show people exactly what they needed to do. In a sales plan, you need to be able to say, if you do A, B, C, you'll get 1, 2, 3, and that's how it works. Ours became a little bit more complicated, and we weren't be able to do that. Sometimes ABC meant C, D, E. Sometimes ABC meant X, Y, Z. It was unpredictable. You can't have, although I keep talking about unpredictability in life, you can't have unpredictability in a sales plan. So what I've done with the new one, I've built back in that predictability where you can honestly bring somebody on board and ask them what they want to earn. When they say they want to earn £1,000 a month, you can show them a very straightforward plan, drawing the old circles to how they need to get there. And for those of you who don't know, drawing the circles is the most simplest way of describing network marketing. A bunch of circles which shows you as the circle at the top, and where people join, and doing what they do create the overall turnover to give you what you want and what they want. And that's how you'll be able to draw the business. I can't really say much more. I'm going to just put in the finishing touches to it over the next few days.
I'll have to stop you there because it'll be cutting off soon.
Okay. No, and I think I've gone on for far too long now.
No,
So
I wish it paid for the full version, and then we could have gone on to that.
No, we're trying to keep costs down, Jeff. We're trying to keep costs down.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Well, I guess
I'm just going to unmute everybody so we can actually, if anybody would like to say thank you to you, I'm going to find unmute. Right. Unmute. Everybody's unmuted, so be careful what you say. Hopefully it's something nice. It'll just cut off, and I'd like to say thank you on behalf of all the team who've managed to get in here. People ringing up, I can't get in. So thanks from me personally for doing this, Michael. I know we've been
You're welcome.
A long time, but a big round of applause for Michael if anybody's liked it. Yeah, you got some rounds of applause there. So
Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody.
yeah, and see the growth next year. So
Yeah.
And once again, thank you, everybody.
thanks for that. So you can get back to whatever you're doing now, Michael, wherever you are.